Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Next stage for EZA LR Gobros is Red Zone Omega. I did say I had this already recorded, but I did actually want to try using them while we have the chance, while he is runnable, using these two with a unit that gives them all in the family. Now unfortunately I'm missing some of kind of like the actual good units that can trigger this link, like LR Kai Goku being the main one. So while we can actually bring out Beast Gohan and he'd be fairly fine, especially at 55%. At 55%? Yeah, at 55%. I'm like, let me do this video again and see how they tank and see where their defense is sitting with all in the family. Because that is an extra, what, like 15% at level 10 they're missing out defensively? 20. So that's a big amount of defense missing. I mean, you could use Tech Ultimate Gohan, but he can get caught. He can get caught. I mean, I do actually want to try him in like Zamasu and that at some point. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to try them with all in the family active, so I'm going to redo this right now. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments about Gobros and how you are finding them, if you're enjoying them. If you are not, do let me know. And while you're there, consider hitting the subscribe button as well and dropping a like on the video, because all the support is very much appreciated. But after their first run against Fusion Zamasu, they actually started really well. Really well. Again, it just kind of boils down to a really poor timing, which is no one's fault. But really poor timing of when they've released on global, being after worldwide, after we've had like a slight creep in power scaling. Like only the best of the best and some of the top units are contending with Fusion Zamasu right now. At least fairly decently. We're getting no additional supers. We actually got no additional supers. We got all of our possible additionals. Even the potential system popped. But none of them felt like being super attacks. No, none of those 50% chances, well, apart from the potential system, but none of those 50% chances from the passive felt like being supers. Damn. And here was me thinking I've been fairly lucky. I've been fairly lucky when it's come to Gobros' additional supers popping. Maybe my luck's run out. Maybe that's the price to pay for having all in the family active, is your additional supers stop working. Damn. I mean, at least that counts towards building up their passive. So they are, what, 4 attacks down, 6 more to go. And we've only just started. So a really good start. But that does mean only 1 stack. 1 stack. But yeah, against Fusion Zamasu, considering the first phase is literally against them, like it's probably their worst possible setup of AoEs. Majority of the time in slot 1, I actually finally managed to get an AoE that was not in slot 1. I can't remember if it was slot 2 or slot 3. I think it might have been slot 3, which is great. Don't get me wrong, 200k on an AoE in the beginning is quite a lot of damage to take against Zamasu and in general. But given the fact they had type disadvantage, we literally only just started. That was their first appearance, so no supers, no, passive build-ups, none of that. Not bad. Once they super attacked, they were fine. Granted, you're always going to have pretty much a Whis active against the first phase, majority of the time anyway. So they done well. We actually managed to get their passive done before, the event ended as well, which is actually pretty good, or very close to being like maybe 1 or 2 more attacks. But I'm pretty sure we actually got it finished, which was great. And one major thing, as I already said about them, is they're really strong. Like, really strong. And they demolished Zamasu's health bar, like, a lot. It's just a shame defensively they're not quite there now because of, again, the poor timing of when they've come out. So we do have 373k defense off of 1 stack and 4 attacks in their passive. Ultimate Gohan does still have guard, which is good as well. So especially flying through the first phase. No stack for Birdcue, which is a shame. I mean, with 370k defense of all in the family active, and the fact we're going to be able to super attack before Gobros are hit, normals are doing double digits. They get just 10 mil like that. 10 mil just like that, bruh. They only get stronger. I love it. No, can we super here? Thank you. So that's 2 30% defenses raises as well. That's 3 attacks so far, so we're 7 attacks deep. We're being supered off of 2 supers, 7 attacks deep. They still took 398k. See, this is why I still like to take units in some of the older red zone stages that some of you may not care about anymore. Because naturally, units can still get caught. Units then build up, depending on what you're facing or who you're facing, they can still get caught. I'm pretty sure one of these gods hasn't actually appeared yet. Am I bugging? No, they have. I'm pretty sure they have. I was probably thinking, no, I swear one of these hasn't been around yet. I'm going to use a Whis just because we are very low on health after Gobros have got supered. And I'm going to do this. And then I'll leave mine untransformed. 8 key spheres, which is good. Guard additional, the whole shebang. And we can recover some HP as well, which I won't turn my nose up at. But yeah, still took over 300k. Again, bearing in mind, they're still not fully built up, but they were, what? As I said, 7 attacks deep, so they only need to get 3 more. That's only an extra 30% attack and defense. They did only additional super once, I think, or twice. So they had 2 or 3 30% defense raises, but they still got hit by almost 400k on Red Zone Omega's second phase on a super. See, this is what I mean. This is why I still take units in older stages just to see how they do, because they can still get caught by some of these older units. They still have a level of difficulty to them. But again, this is where defensively, like, I'm not saying defensively they're bad. Like, again, given they're not fully built up, we did an additional as many times as we could. But now imagine them getting caught here and how well they managed to perform against Zamasu. It's saying something, and how easy it is for them to get caught against Zamasu. Again, it just all comes down to timing. You know, that scale, that power curve, just curving a little bit extra before their EZA dropped on global. But they're still doing well. And one thing's for certain, as I said, especially because they stack, they are very strong. We saw that in the Zamasu video. The health bar was getting melted. Melted. Absolutely demolished. But the normal attacks are a given that they were going to tank them for double digits. We do still have the Whis active, so I mean we might as well kind of make the most of it and just put them in slot 1 so they actually get to stack. We're up to 377k defense. So even though they super attacked... No, even though they attacked, what, 3-4 times? Because we lost all in the family, because we lost that 20% on our defense, are you seeing how much... Just how much defense we lost just from losing one link? Like, all in the family is such a strong link. It's just, again, I don't have 18 milli. The attack stat, though, is there. The only thing is, I'm missing one of the biggest units that could... Big 11 mil crit as well, damn. The only thing is, I'm missing one of the best units who has that link, which is the opening Goku. Which is kind of annoying, but at the end of the day, what can you do? That's just kind of how the cookie crumbles with Dokkan, like, you know, when it comes to pulling units. So, I mean, he would actually be a great addition. Not only is he an amazing unit and very good defensively, but we could also trigger that link for Gobros. So if you do have that Kai Goku, you will help out Gobros a bit and they will tank a bit better. Like, it's not even like it only does a little bit, like it doesn't matter. No, it actually does make a difference. I mean, you're seeing there, we had pretty much the same amount of defense without, what, 3-4 extra attacks with their passive being built up, with all in the family active, to then pretty much having the same defense the following turn they appeared without it, with more of their passive being built up. So if you have that Kai opening Goku from the 8th anniversary, they're definitely helping out Gobros, or he's definitely helping out Gobros quite a bit with that all in the family link. Does that mean they're going to be able to tank Zamasu like a hell of a lot better? Not really. I mean, it would probably go down to maybe like 70k, which is still not too bad. But given how hard Zamasu hits, which is 700k, it's just a little bit too much. Now, I'm not saying they're unrunnable against Zamasu. Like, you can still bring them, and as long as you manage to get lucky and you can keep them out of harm's way, and you just let them just pop off with the amount of damage they can do, along with the units that surround them who are naturally very good defensively and also can do a ton of damage, you're actually chilling. Like, you can actually beat it, not, like, I was going to say fairly easily, but you could have a pretty good time. But there's just a big asterisk and a big warning sign of they can get caught at any moment. Easily. So, I mean, their passive should almost be done. I don't think it is done, but with borderline on 400k defense, we have their active skill and Omega's almost dead. So, do you know what? We might as well pop that shit right now.
Use every ounce of power you've got in you! Kamehame!
Not as much damage as we would have hoped. Obviously, they do have Titan's advantage, but I mean, they could have... If they crit, they actually would have done a lot of damage, which of course, them stacking is going to help them do even more damage on that. But still, we got to pop it, and it actually did remind me of something. We actually have 422k defense, which, funnily enough, I think is a couple of thousand, literally like just over, but we have just over 2k more defense than how much this Omega does on a basic. I'm pretty sure it's between 4 to 420k. So if we were type neutral right now, Gobros would be able to tank Omega fairly easily. The only thing is, because we have type disadvantage right here, we're going to need that extra padding from them supering and finishing out their passive, which they're about to do. So even against Omega, which is a little bit more on the longer side compared to like the red zone stages we have now, Zamasu being the main one I'm referring to, they're still not fully done. They're still not fully done. And they didn't even get locked off of rotation or anything like that. So it can take time to build this unit up. That's the only thing. The only annoying thing is we're not going to get to use them again before we end this. I mean, I doubt it. When we do get the revival, we're going to have to do like a little, like only a little bit of damage next time to get them to pop up again. But even against the Mega here, they would take a little bit on basic. That with that 400k to go off of, they would take a little bit naturally because of the type disadvantage. I think once they super attack and their passive is definitely being finished built up, because I don't think it is quite yet. I think it's 1 or 2 attacks off, which isn't a lot. It's like 10-20% attack and defense. But the 30% defense raises, they on a normal, I'm pretty certain would be able to tank Omega's basics here, even with type advantage. But that is once they super. That is once they get the 30% defense raises. That is once the additionals pop. And their passive is definitely fully done. And of course, the KO super is the KO super, so we don't really have to worry about that. So that's what I'm saying. These two can be caught. And defensively, they would be fine, again, I think, against the majority of enemies in the game. Like, again, I know Omega's one of the older stages, right? But he does have type disadvantage here, or they do have type disadvantage here, and he has type advantage. So even they do have enough defense to compete if they're like type neutral, and once they super attack, they would be fine. You know, they could still be caught. You know, say they did get locked off of rotation, right? And we didn't get to build them up as much. They would actually probably take a little bit of damage in that final phase naturally just because they have type disadvantage, which again isn't their fault. You know, it's just the way the game is. You know, there's an enemy, right? But they still perform really well. Like, defensively, are they the best even before Worldwide? No. They are incredibly strong, though, so you'll take a little bit less defense for a unit that does this much damage, especially with the stacking and can only get stronger. But basic-wise, once they're fully built up, you're looking at like 400k defense with 30% defense raises and the potential of multiple. Basic-wise, normal attack-wise, they should be able to tank the majority in the game, aside from Fusions and Mastery, which we've already seen. Super attacks, however, they can get caught, I think, by the majority of any difficult enemy in the game, which is fine because items exist. If you're a no-item runner, then that's probably a no-go for you. But that's the trade-off you get for the damage. But as I said, especially with them releasing after Worldwide, after we've got like another power creep with Fusion Zamasu, it really doesn't look good for them. But as I said, once they're fully built up and they get some supers off, they can tank majority of basics in the game. Maybe like 1 or 2 supers, but not many. Like, I think a Broly, they would survive. I think they would take a chunk of damage naturally because Broly's doing 1.4. But with the type advantage and a few supers, they would have enough. But even then, I feel they would still take a chunk of damage. But I don't think they'll get you killed. But against like a cooler core, Fusions of Mastery definitely, and maybe even Shadow Dragon Sin, you may be one-shotted. Maybe not against Shadow Dragon Sin, you might take a lot, but they might not be the unit to get you killed. But they can still hold their own, especially if the enemy's dead before they get a chance to be super attacked by the type of damage they're doing. But you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and peace.